Well, hello, everybody. Well. What do we have here? Hello. Thank you for joining me today. Welcome, one and all. I'm just reading this chat. That's what Alex told me to do. Good friend. Oh boy. We've got some hooligans in the chat tonight. Indeed. Dewan, good evening from the North Pole. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Oh, such good children in the chat today. Oh, I see a lot of good people on the nice list. That's all I have to say. No one's on the naughty list this year. You're all getting jobs. Enjoy. All right. Oof. This is really hot. Guys, I hate to break the illusion, but it's me. It's been me the whole time, guys. Wow, this is lovely. This is good stuff. Okay, well, hey, welcome to December's live stream. Really glad everyone could join. Santa was supposed to come, and he kind of bailed on me last minute. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought I could pull this off, but it got very hot very quickly. I did my best. So, yeah, got a little catfished in there. Sorry, guys. Oof. I feel bad. But hey, I still bring presents. Not real monetary tangible presents, but presents of knowledge, of wisdom. Maybe. We'll see. Got a lot of hair. I've never had this problem. All right. So let's we're here. Something's coming off my ear. Don't worry about that. Just ignore that. But hey, we're here. We're doing this thing. And this is, if you've never joined, this is our monthly live stream. I do one every single month. I have been for the past like 6 months. I love them. My hair's, I'm not used to having hair on me, as you guys know. But, this is our time. If you have questions, I read every single comment that comes into my, goes through my feed on my YouTube channel. So I literally will see every single question, but I don't always have time to answer all of them. So this is your time to ask Santa, aka me, Alex the Santa Claus, just questions that you have, curiosities. It could be about learning, courses, data analytics, the job market, my personal life. It doesn't mean I'll answer them, but I will do my absolute best. Ryder's already asking questions. I see several. Oh, my wife's in the chat. She called me Hot Santa. What can you do? When you got it, you got it. I think it's the hair. I think she's just, she hasn't seen me with hair in a while. And what are you gonna do? So yeah, go ahead. Start asking questions, because that's what we're here for. That's what we're here to do. We're here to ask questions, to chat. I need this hand to scroll through the chat so I can hear you. Hear you. And yeah, we'll just do our normal thing. Again, I'm sorry I couldn't get Santa to join, but I'll do my best to fill his very large shoes. But I see everyone. I see a lot of people I recognize. Let me see. Kyle, yeah. Sabine, how's it going? Ryder, what's going on? I already see questions coming in. I'm going to start answering them, because if I don't, I'm going to start falling behind. And then it just becomes a huge thing. I'd rather just stay on top of it. And, we'll see how we do. We'll see how we do. If you like the hair, let me know. I've been thinking about, maybe it's a toupee, maybe a wig. Try it out. Apparently my wife likes me with the hair. I did not know that. I thought she loved me how I was, but Mohammed, hey from Australia. Hey, how's it going? Good to see you. All right, let me start reading questions. Lakshmi said, that's what we expect. The knowledge gift, Santa. Ryder said, hey Santa, should we make strategies against resume scanners? Yes, to an extent. Resume scan, I mean, they've been doing that for years. They've been doing that for a long time. I think they're even more prevalent now. Companies like, Facebook and large tech companies are using them almost not exclusively, but very heavily. So yeah, I think you should, to an extent, like I said. Shubham said, hey Alex, love from India, love from the United States back, my friend. Sandeep Sarkar said, one, is it possible to work as a data analyst remotely? I mean, can I work in the US, UK-based company from my home country of Bangladesh and get paid? The answer is yes. I actually mentored someone who did that exact thing. I've worked with people who have done that exact thing. It's absolutely possible. Now, you can, if the people who I've all worked with have worked for companies like TCS or Accenture or companies like that who have all these like connections to, the UK and the US. So that would be my recommendation if you can get into one of those companies. I don't know how difficult it is over there, but I know it's competitive. Those are really good ins, but there are other ways. That's just from my experience, that's been really successful. Lala Boogie said, hi, I'm a new follower. Hey, welcome to the, I don't know what to call our group. We're just the analyst people. I have a few questions already. Well, Lala, shoot those questions on over and I will try to help you answer them. Adam Carter, when I make a change in Power Query, do I have to refresh all the data every time I make a change? This slows me down so much in Power BI. Do I have to refresh all the data every time I make a change? So if you make a change to Power Query, I think it depends on how you're pulling the data in. I'd have to look at that actually. I don't off the top of my head. What camera do I use for my YouTube channel? Well, I used to use a Canon SL3, cost like $400, and it was a fantastic camera. I just recently upgraded like a month or 2 months ago to a Canon 90D. Just more megapixels. Other than that, the SL3 was perfectly fine. I needed to upgrade a little bit, but that one worked really well. Great budget. I used that for over 2 years. You guys probably didn't notice any difference in my quality of videos lately. So, but yeah, Canon 90D is what I use now. Let's see. Your views on ChatGPT, Ari Aman. Okay, so here are my honest views on ChatGPT. I think it's very neat. I've done a lot of a little bit of work in my actual job with natural language processing, but I've done a ton of projects. I'm super into natural language processing as a whole. I've done projects on it even on my YouTube channel with, I can't remember what I did it with. Was it Twitter data? Sentiment analysis using Twitter data? All that being said, I think it's fantastic. I love it. What I will say is I've tested it out myself. I don't think I'm gonna be doing a video on it, but I tested it out and I was like, okay, it definitely has a use. It's just not amazing. It's like I would put it at like a 7 out of 10 in terms of like blow me away factor. Really good, really impressive. Obviously they put a lot of work into it. I don't think it's gonna be, and it sounds like the best quality about it is that it sounds human-like. It sounds like I could have written it. That is the best thing about it. The worst thing about it is that it's not extremely knowledgeable in certain areas. It's very limited in what it knows and how it can search and the type of questions. So it's not like a replacement for Google like some people are saying. Definitely not. It's just, it's a really neat thing. It could be integrated into certain systems and products and make it really useful, but it's not ready. It's not ready yet, in my opinion. That's just my take on it. I messed with it quite a bit. Lala Boogie, okay, she wrote her answer. She said, what's a friendly position for an entry-level data analyst? That's a good question. So when I first started, I just looked at data analyst. But data analyst job title can be competitive. That's what most people search for, right? So try to think of something that's unique to you. Something for me was something like a healthcare analyst. It could do the exact same work as a data analyst, but not as many people want to focus in healthcare as just data analytics as a whole. So you can narrow down into a smaller niche and it's easier to find a job. Also, business analytics is a great thing to look at. Data visualization specialist is another one to look at. And any like entry level, oh, this is like coming off my head. Don't mind me. Entry level, like junior level or entry level XYZ, business analyst, data visualization specialist. Question for Alex from Kyle Pickett. What is a great resource to learn by doing? I'm not great at learning heavily by watching videos. If you're not good at watching videos, there are books out there. I personally don't learn great by books. I'm the opposite. I learn by videos, following tutorials. That's why I do that way, because that's how I learn. So I feel like, that's why I make my content that way. So there are books and there are guided projects, which are mostly videos. There is one, I don't know, I think it might be Data Camp. And then there's also, they're good. I'm not saying you have to do it, but there's a boot camp called Career Foundry that's very text-based. They almost do no videos. I'm not saying you have to do a boot camp or anything. I'm just saying if that's how you learn, look into like those options. I think it's either Data Quest or Data Camp that does like text. There's not a lot of videos. Let's see. Hey, Al, I'm reading through these real quick. Let's see. Greetings from CO, Colombia, or CO? That's not Canada. I'm already searching for a job, but to be honest, I don't have career. You know any people work data analysts without a career? I mean, yes and no. Some people do it like freelancing on the side, trying to get some like side income while they do like their full-time job. But as a whole, no, most people try to do it full-time, from my experience. Let's see. Okay, Deeb R. I feel like I recognize that name from LinkedIn. Maybe I'm wrong. Or just maybe the picture that you have. Anyways, it says, I am in digital marketing where I'm getting a good salary. How can I move into data analytics? Digital marketing has a lot of overlap. Actually, you work with a lot of data. And so, how I've tried to frame it is what is the overlap between your job and what a data analyst does? How do you work with data? What tools do you use? And how can you rewrite that on your resume to make it more data analytics focused? But also there are marketing analysts. There are digital marketing analysts. I mean, those are jobs that if you get the skills, if you get the, SQL and maybe Google, if you work with Google Analytics, and maybe some online, like web-based usually is like Looker or something. If you get some of these base skills and you put those on your resume and you combine them with your past domain knowledge in marketing, excuse me, that can go a long way. That really can. Shubham says, I'm a fresher from India. Oops. I'm a fresher from India with no prior experience, but I've done some projects based on SQL, Python, and machine learning. I've been rejected a lot lately. Any advice that would help? My question to you, and I'll come back to your question once you answer it, is are you getting rejected in the interview process, or is your resume being rejected? Like, are you getting no interviews? Because those are very different. Let me know like what you're being rejected from, and I'll try to answer that question. Because there are different answers. Island Zhang said, how do I approach starting a project when still taking classes? It seems daunting, and I'm not sure how to combine classes with starting my own project. Well, projects can be hard. Starting your own projects, building your own projects, finding data sets, knowing what to actually do with the data, all these things are tough. They do not come naturally for most people. So start with guided projects. I have many on my channel. I highly recommend doing those because I walk through my thought process, right? I walk through my thought process. I tell you, here's why I'm doing what I'm doing, and here's the reason why. Then you can even do more advanced ones, maybe like Coursera guided projects. They have some too. But then you just need to take what you see and apply it to another data set. And then you go from there. And then you learn new skills and you build on those previous projects. it's hard to just start without kind of having an idea or not having any experience. That's hard. That's what I'd recommend doing. Oh geez, did that thing where I skip to the bottom every time. Goodness gracious, I'm way behind. I just skipped like 100 comments. So I gotta rapid fire this bad boy. Let's see. Hi Santa, I've been working in data analytics for 2 years and I have great leadership skills. Will a manager role in analytics make more sense for my career or should I shift to data science? It's totally up to you. I got into, as you guys know, or maybe you may or not have seen, depending on who's out there, I just quit my job. Today is my last day. And I was a manager for the past year. I myself, I liked being the more hands-on data analytics work than the manager stuff, but in order to climb higher in the ranks, manager, director, CTO, that kind of career path, you want to get into a manager role. But if you like the more technical side of like actually working and hands-on doing stuff, I don't really recommend doing the manager role. But data science, you can be really technical and you can be a manager. So managers of data science usually are more technical as well. Sad Tiger, come on, this is a family-friendly event. My friend, come. Let's see. CJ, thank you. I'm glad CJ's out there. Chat GPT, aka CJ. CJ's my guy. All right, don't mess around in the chat. Noah Barrientos, or no Barrientos or Noe Barrientos. Follow or channel member. So I'm absolutely gonna answer this one. I'm skipping everyone else, going straight to her. Let's see. She said, any tips for business information systems major on getting a job in May? Okay, so business information systems. I don't know a lot about that major myself. You know my background, like my background is not in that area. But information systems in general tend to be pretty technical heavy, but more on sometimes more on the database side or even the computer system side, which is not super analytics focused. But you're pretty technical, which is a good thing. You can definitely use that. I'm sure you can use it. But what I would do is I would try to, like I would tell other people, get the skills, put on your resume, make projects, put that on your resume, highlight, because you don't have any experience yet, you're right out of college. Then you put your degree under that. You want to highlight your skills, your projects, all these things first, and then highlight your degree. Now, my degree has nothing to do with this at all, right? So I put mine at the very, very bottom. But yours is like in a tech area. But if you told me more about what your degree is, what technical skills you have, I might be able to give you a more specific answer. I skipped one. Roman IAC, how can I deal with stubborn managers, especially when they don't listen, when they're not particularly right? That's a tough one. It's a very, very delicate balance. I myself would try to set a one-on-one and just be like, hey, when we were in that meeting, if it was in a meeting, like, hey, we were in that meeting, I know you're going down this path. I actually think this path might be better, and kind of explain why. And if they give you pushback, be like, okay, that's your call. You're the manager. There is a certain level of you have to let them fail too. Just like a manager sometimes has to let themselves fail. It's a delicate balance. It's not easy. Dewan Mac, I'm having a hard time picking a data analytics bootcamp down to Coding Temple and Career Foundry. Any advice? So I don't know what Coding Temple is. I've looked at Career Foundry. Career Foundry is pretty good, pretty reasonably priced. You get a mentor, but there are a lot of boot camps out, like a lot of boot camps out there. Now, whether or not they're any good, that's up to you. Now, again, I didn't take the Career Foundry one, although I did a review on their platform. And overall, I found it pretty good, but it depends on the kind of learner you are. Check out my video on that if you're actually interested in them, because there are some pros and cons that I talked about in the video. But there's even ones with like Maven Analytics has a boot camp, which is a little more pricier, but I know Maven Analytics a little better than other random boot camps. And Maven Analytics has one too that I think is fairly decent. Sharon Gondam said, hey, Alex, how to deal with stakeholders at different levels as a data analyst? Well, that's a good question because, interacting with, as a data analyst, you interact with a lot of levels. When I was first starting out, I was like when my first job as a data analyst, I was working with director level and senior level director and the CIO of my company. So I was interacting with all of them. I think it's very much comes from a place of like, they're going to know more than you. And you come about it as, here's what I have found from my experience, and here's how I found what I found. Try to give them a little background, but not too much, because usually they don't want to go crazy in depth. But I think just being respectful of the fact that, they know what they're doing, they know what they're talking about, but you're kind of more hands-on on the ground with the data, and they're going to ask a lot of questions. So just be prepared for a lot of follow-up questions. Nicholas, that a proper name, very fitting for today's live stream. Nicholas said, "Hey Santa, I've been applying to," and because he said, "Hey Santa," I gotta answer it. Gotta give the man his gift for the night. Or present, I don't know. "Hey Santa, I've been applying to jobs recently for the past couple of months now and haven't received anything back. Would it be a good idea to go to a recruiter to receive help in job hunting?" 100%. A few months, I would have been using recruiters day one. Nicholas, I'm not Nicholas Jarmilla. I'm not trying to be. I came off aggressive. I'm going to take a step back. Nicholas, if I were in your shoes, I would be working with recruiters day one. This is not a solo journey, right? This isn't something that you should be doing alone. Blind applying to jobs is the fastest way to get burnt out and feel very, very disappointed in your job search. I've been there. Recruiters are there for free, a free service to you, because the company pays recruiters to help them find talent. That's how it works. So how recruiters get paid is if they find a job for that company that they're working for, they get a percentage of your salary. Like, let's say you go and you accept a job for 60,000, you're still getting that 60,000, but then the company says, okay, we'll pay you 6,000, which is 10% of, his salary. None of your salary gets taken away. So 100% work with a recruiter. Let's see. Tehran said, "I recently got laid off from a US mortgage company. Super sorry to hear that. I want to transition to the data industry, starting to learn SQL from Udemy. That's awesome. What are your suggestions as to what other courses I need to learn from?" I have tons of videos on that, so I can't like off the top of my head, but I have tons of videos. I have a whole playlist on my channel about my courses that I have personally taken and I recommend. So best Udemy courses, like I have a whole video on best Udemy courses. So go check out that video. Let me see. CJ knows. See, I don't need to answer questions anymore. When CJ's in the chat, he's just like, "Oh yeah, Alex, this is what Alex has said in his video." So he doesn't need to answer that. CJ's the man. Sandeep said, "I'm doing a PhD in the United States, but I want to be a data analyst as I'm not enjoying my PhD." Sorry to hear that. Should I include it on my resume or LinkedIn that my PhD is going on? I don't know. Depends on what it's in. Because if it says you're an active PhD candidate, then sometimes people will be like, "Oh, you're still working on your PhD. I don't want to hire you." So probably not as my instinct, but I think use your intuition based off what I've said. What's your take on Julia? DataCamp is really promoting it. I like Julia, although I haven't personally used it a ton. I've checked it out. I like it. But as a programming language as a whole, I haven't used it a lot. So I can't like personally say, yes, it's a great language to learn. Lala Boogie asks another good question. What are interviewers looking for in a candidate who is coming from a background not related to data analytics? Very appropriate for a lot of people. So I think it's a very good question to ask. I have interviewed people who do not come from a data analyst background. What I'm really looking for is, do they have the right technical skills and personality? Now, some people call them soft skills, but me, myself, and I'm just looking, I want to see if their personality, if I get along. A lot of things can be learned, and a lot of managers know that. And a lot of times, managers are very aware that there's not a huge market for their niche. So they need to train people, and they're aware of this. Not everyone, but I promise you, I've talked with other managers, I've worked with other managers, that's It's a very real thing where they're like, hey, look, there's no one person out there that's perfect. I just need someone who's trainable. I need someone who can learn it. So what they're looking for is someone who has the technical skills in the kind of the right areas, who they know can learn what they are using, and has a good personality and a good attitude towards learning. That is genuinely what they're looking for. Taiwo Papula, compliments of the season. I like that. That's beautiful. Compliments of the season. It's like poetry. Let's see what else we got. Can someone get a job only having an associate's degree with a strong resume and portfolio? Yes. You could have no associates and get one. In fact, one of my star mentees, I have a mentorship program. One of my strong mentees, you may have seen him on LinkedIn. His name is Sergio. Sergio, if you're in the chat and I'm giving this away, or you wanted to make an announcement, I thought you already did. And if you didn't, I'm sorry. The man has I worked with him. I've worked with him for over a year and a half. The man has no formal education except for high school. And I worked with him and he worked extremely hard on his technical skills, great resume, great portfolio. He's working at PayPal now, just got a full-time job. He's making like over 100K. I mean, it's not unheard of. And he's in like Dallas. So Sergio, just a plug for Sergio. Sergio Ramos, if you want to follow him on LinkedIn, share some good stuff on data analytics. He's trying to become like a little mini me, a little mini influence. I'm just kidding, Sergio. He's a good guy, very good guy. But follow him on LinkedIn, little shout out. Can I apply for jobs after finishing Excel, SQL, and Tableau? I've completed a few projects as well. We'll start learning Python soon. Am I on the right track? Sandeep, yes, you're on the right track. Those are the good skills. Yeah. I have a video called How to Become a Data Analyst in 2022. Really lays out everything. And I'm going to make a new one for 2023 that includes a few different details. But yeah, you're definitely on the right track. Best places to look for jobs as a data analyst. Well, best places in location, definitely metropolitan areas are going to be your best bet. But if you can't get to a metropolitan area, look for remote jobs for sure. But best places to look for jobs is in like websites would be, I like LinkedIn a ton, working with recruiters a ton, highly recommend doing that. Other than that, I've used Glassdoor and ZipRecruiter and all those, and I don't recommend them as much as LinkedIn. And I have a whole video on how to get a job on LinkedIn, so check that one out. Ted asks, seems like, yeah, Ted asks a couple of good questions. So Ted F says, any thoughts on a video showing the best way to display portfolio files, how to embed a Power BI dashboard for public view, how to show snips of Python and SQL mixed with their returned results? These are all good questions. I don't have a perfect answer. What I will say is most people will use GitHub, and someone will just have to click in and go and look at it. Now, it's not perfect. You can also do something like a narrative website, like Wix, where you can embed links to things like Power BI and other things. In Tableau, you can embed links into those websites. But then again, people have to go to your website to then click into other things, and that becomes messy. So there's no perfect solution, but there are workarounds. Now, this follow-up to that is he said most portfolio videos on YouTube end with, just upload it to your site and you're done. You're right. I have a whole video on how to create a portfolio using GitHub, and that's what I use. That's what I recommend most people. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. So yeah, not a great answer, but I hope that helped. Basit Ali said, hey, Alex, what are your comments about internships that ask for 2 years of experience for data analytics? Run, because they're trying to get free, cheap labor, or cheap and or free labor. That's what they're doing. It's ridiculous. Is it wise to freelance as a fresher? If you can swing it, it can be hard to market yourself, but if you can swing it, do it. Sheldon says, I like your costume. Thank you. Thank you. Mohammed says, do recruiters care about age if you're applying for a junior position? I mean, in terms of investment they would make. Here's my only real comment on that. It can matter if you're older and you expect a certain salary. If you've had a full career and you're making 110,000, and then you're trying to switch careers into data analytics and expect 110,000 as a junior, which some people have that expectation because they have experience and domain knowledge, it's not going to happen. Usually it's not going to happen. So if your age can matter, but not always. free certifications that hold a lot of value. Really aren't many. There really aren't many certifications that, like, the only ones I really recommend are AWS, Microsoft, and Tableau certifications. You can go on my website, alexanalyst.com, where I kind of walk through that and have links to all of those, but I don't recommend a ton of certifications. Hi Alex, I've seen a lot of ads for CompTIA Data Plus certification. Got any thoughts on it? Yes, it's not needed. And they charge quite a bit of money. Not needed. You can get it. It's not needed. That's my thoughts. Greetings from Indonesia, says Zainal. I feel like I've seen that name before. Maybe it's the picture. I recognize pictures and names for the most part. But hey, how's it going? Greetings from the US. Adele said, congratulations on starting your company. Thank you. On Tuesday, I will have a whole video explaining everything. Just about like why I quit my job, because I no longer have an employer. I'm now my own boss. But I'll have a whole video on that. On like the reasons why, what I have planned for the future, what projects I'm working on, and why I quit my job. But thank you. Thank you very much, Adele. Oh, it skipped to the bottom again. Where was I? Oh my. Oh no. Oh geez. Oh boy. I went so. Oh, okay. I think I found it. YouTube needs to fix that. That is a problem. Let's see. Kyle, I read your comment. I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but you're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome. I'm doing my best over here. CJ's laying down the law. Stop asking so many questions. If you don't know CJ, get to know him. He's my moderator. And where's Matthew? Matthew, man, he came to the last live stream. He's my other moderator. But CJ, thanks for being there consistently, man. Good news without you. That one time you didn't show up, it was filled with bots. It was horrible. And I mean that. I'm not joking. I think I messaged you after that telling you I was very disappointed in you. I'm just messing with you. Do you think it's useful web scraping for data analytics? Tell me about your experience. Absolutely. In my real job, I've done web scraping on many, many projects where I've had to web scrape. Like when I was working exclusively with healthcare data, there was a healthcare data set that would be uploaded every month to this website. And I created a web scraper and a bot to go in, click on it, download the new file, put it into our, append it to this database, and then check for any errors. So it's 100% useful. That's just one example. I've used it for many different things. Absolutely. Web scraping is great. Oh, you're getting an automated email saying they're no longer interested. So this is from Barrientos. I'm just gonna call you Barrientos. Okay, so what that means is it's your resume. Okay, it has nothing to do with interview skills, has nothing to do with any of that. You could have the best interview, you could be the best interviewer in the world, but you're never gonna get a job if you don't have a good resume. Now, I do have a video, it's pretty old, it's like 2-3 years old, but I have a few videos actually on how to create a data analyst resume, what keywords to use, how to write it, and even some templates that you can use. I recommend checking those out because it seems like a resume problem to me. DAX is challenging. How can we have a good hands on it? Check out my video on Power BI DAX, if you're talking about Power BI. Now, I think Excel has like DAX 2. I don't know if it's even called DAX. It's just, I don't even know what it's called. But if you're talking about Power BI, I've made a whole video on that, so check that out. But just practice, bring in different data sets. That's a good question. Diego Cortez, how many hours per day do you suggest studying Excel, SQL, Python? Love your videos. Greeting from Chile. Chile, my friends from the South. Is that correct? I believe so. I'm in the United States. They're in South America, right? If I'm wrong, I apologize. I'm pretty sure they are though. Hey, greetings from the United States. It so depends on your schedule. I used to do about 3 or 4 hours a night when I was first starting out because I would do it every night after my family went to sleep. I had to stay up late just to study every single night. But if you have kids, you have stuff, even an hour a day can go a long way. Joseph, yes, Santa did lose some weight. If I'm being completely honest though, I'm not the real Santa. I'm not the real Santa. So, let's see. Shubham said, most of the time my resume is rejected. I ask for help on our resume community and they helped a lot. Most of the job requires 1 year of experience, but no one wants a fresher. You're not wrong, but there are ways to kind of get around this. I look at experience as things you've worked on, right? And a lot of people, what I recommend is you don't have real experience, as in a job that pays you or an internship that doesn't pay you or pays you, is to use your projects as your experience and to highlight your projects and get them interested before they say no. So in your summary, you shouldn't say, looking for my first data analyst job. I've never done this before. I wouldn't even put a summary if that's true. Just highlight your skills, highlight your projects, and then at the bottom, put your education. Keep it super simple, right? That's what I recommend. Keep it simple. Noe Barrientos asked another question. When should I start applying for jobs as a business information systems that graduates in May? If you're graduating in May, start applying like the month or 2 before May. So you can start lining it up if you can. Start applying beforehand and start working with recruiters and start working with your career services at your college if they have that, or if you're in college. Look at your career services because they can help as well connect you to companies they already have connections to. So start applying a month or 2 before, work with recruiters. Usually they like people out of college because you're cheap, and then you can gain experience and then scale up over the next year or 2, make double, triple what you're making net at the first year. So just expectations. Malco Rub seems suspect. With all the tech layoffs, how is job security currently in your industry? It's great. My company did not want me to leave. They did not want me to leave. They asked, is there any chance of me staying? I said no. So in healthcare, at least, at my old company, security is very good. Most of the tech layoffs you see are from large tech companies that hired way too much during the pandemic, like 50% more than they should have. And now they're having to downsize because they're starting to lose money because they hired way too many people and profits are down. So that's really it. Let's see, I'm looking at the next questions. What are your thoughts on the Metadatabase Engineer course? I think I saw that on Coursera. I didn't fully take a look at that, so I'm not 100%, but I did take a look at Meta's Marketing Analyst one. And it was like I'd rate it like a 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10. So if that's any indication of how the database database engineer is, it's up to you. You can check out my review on that if you want to see kind of how they do things, but it was not the best made one I've ever seen. Is stock price predictable? No. Tiger? No, it's not. Can you suggest any free certifications? Oh, you already asked that. My answer was no. Shali, would you mind sharing why you quit your job? I'll just a teensy bit. I just had other opportunities and my full-time job was getting in the way. And I say that with all respect for my previous employment. I just had other things that I wanted to spend my time on that could potentially have a higher return on investment that I couldn't take on because I had a full-time job. But I'll go a lot more into that in my video on Tuesday. That should be a fun one or a heartbreaking one. I already recorded it. It's emotional. I added some guitar. It's not me, but I added some guitar sounds behind it. It's gonna be emotional. I was actually emotional. Alex, do you have any self-guided advice or books or advice books? No, I don't. I'm sorry. How do you get in contact with a company's recruiter if they aren't obvious? Go check out. So go check out my video. I think it's called like how to get a job or how to reach out to recruiters on LinkedIn. Just type in LinkedIn on my channel or search for LinkedIn on my channel. And I have like, it breaks it down exactly how to do it. But reaching out to recruiters is a skill. You can either cold call, cold email. You can search for them on LinkedIn in a very tactful way. And that's what I show you how to do on my video. And then you can message them directly. I've gotten jobs that way, so highly recommend it. Dang, CJ's going off on some people. He just deleted like 1,000 messages. I'm skipping all that stuff. CJ's going off. He said, limit to 1 question at a time. Look, I'm not in charge here. If CJ says limit to 1 question at a time, limit to 1 question at a time. All right. It says, It says Razak, who was asking like 1,000 questions, got like banned or timed out or something. All right, let's keep going. Just so you know, I'm gonna try to stop around like 9 o'clock. That's usually when my wife likes to go to bed. And so I try to be respectful of her time. If we go over a little bit, you know, she'll forgive us. She loves me. She'll forgive me. I hope. Rohail, yeah, let me try to pronounce this. Yazdani said, Alex, you're the man. You're an inspiration to us. P.S. If you trim your beard today, I will vote the chin strap this time. No, I'm not doing a beard trimming this time. Although when I hit 350,000 subscribers, when I do that one, that's usually when I do my beard trimmings, or the trimming the beard. Yeah, not today. What's a fresher? No, a fresher in the United States, you may not have heard of what a fresher is, but I have learned quickly that a fresher, especially in like India, a fresher is somebody who is new to the industry, who is just starting out. It's like a junior, someone who's a junior level or entry level. That's what a fresher means. Good question. Oh, I skipped some. Random stranger. CJ replied to your thing, but I'm just going to touch on that. What do I think about it? I think the Google Data Analytics certificate is for people who are just starting out. People always ask me, they're like, hey, I've done all these things. I've already made projects. I'm about to start applying. Do you recommend me going and getting the Google cert? No, it is not needed. You're way past that Google certification. And I tell people, I'm like, you're way past that. You don't need that. But people still do it because they like the idea of certifications. And I find them 99% of the time, they're useless. It's the skills and the projects that really do you wonders. It's for people who are wanting to learn the concepts, wanting to learn what data analytics is about, wanting to learn the topics, the basics of SQL, the basics of Excel, and how it's used in data analytics. That it's really good for that, genuinely. It's not used for people who already are that far along. Oh, I didn't bring any water. I'm parched. I've been talking for 45 minutes straight. I'm parched. I'm gonna ask my wife if she can bring me a water. Give me a second, guys. If she doesn't, y'all say, hey, baby, can you bring me some water? I'm parched. And I love you. And I love you. All right, let's see what she says. My voice, my moneymaker right here, it's in her hands. Oh, she read it? Because she has read receipts on, so she read it. She's ghosting me. She's not responding. Oh, answer my question and I will. Uh-oh. Let me find my wife on here. Let me see. Where's my wife's question? This isn't good. This isn't good, guys. Where's my wife's question? Oh, Christine Freeberg. If you could be anything other than a data analyst / YouTuber, that's my wife. What would you do? If I could do anything, you know, I would, okay, let me take a step back. I love teaching and I found a huge passion for teaching, especially through YouTube. Although I used to be a tutor. So I used to do tutoring in college and for the TOEFL for international students from China. So I love teaching. I think I would like to be a college professor. And I may do that in the future. I think it would be so much fun. And so I'd be the chillest, most relaxed teacher. And I think I'd do a really good job. That's what I want to do. So please bring me water. I'm super thirsty. Wait. Let's see. Kareem Mustafa. Thank you for being a member. I really appreciate it. Let's answer that question. It says, I'm a mechanical engineer and I answered your question. Thank you, baby. I love you. Santa loves you. Oh my. I'll get to your question in just a second. My wife distracted me. He said, I'm a mechanical engineer. I want to change career, but I'm 35. Now, do you think I can or no? You 100% can. I was working with somebody who was literally 45 years old, 10 years ahead of you. You saw I got 10 years. He was 45, was able to switch. And yeah, he's making good money. He's making good money, like very decent. I think he was making like 75 right off the bat because he had prior experience in this area, his domain knowledge. You're a mechanical engineer, you have engineering background, you have hopefully an engineering degree does help, just so you know. Engineering degree pulls some weight in the data analytics world, believe it or not. So yes, I absolutely think you can. Any tips for burnout while studying? How many hours or day per week can you learn? I think burnout is very normal, very natural, and especially if you don't feel like you're making progress. Now, when you feel like you're making progress, burnout isn't as relevant, but my recommendation is take breaks, right? Don't do it every single day for 4 or 5 hours. I have done that. You do get burnt out, and then you need to take like a week off. Just pace yourself. And do things you enjoy. If you're doing something you enjoy, it's so much harder to get burnt out. Daniel, can you make interactive videos that easily explain the concepts of machine learning algorithms? No, I cannot, Daniel. I'm not an expert in machine learning. I've done enough to know the basics, and I've worked with people who know better than I do, but I am not the person you want teaching you machine learning algorithms. Yeah, definitely not me. Merry Christmas, HOF City League. Keep it techie. Said, greetings, Alex. I really enjoy your channel and content. Well, thank you. I'm really glad you do. Janan said, can you please suggest some data analyst course for beginners? Okay. Yeah, just check. I can't, there's so many. There's so many. I've done reviews on tons of them. Check out my playlist, data analyst courses. I have like 10 videos on data analyst courses, the ones that I personally have taken, or my review on platforms that I haven't used or tried out, you know, but I have tons of videos on that. So check those out. Let's see. Oh, we got a success story, guys. Everybody listen in. Come close to your screen. This is an exciting time. Hamza Irani said, hi, Alex. I got a data analyst internship next summer. Thanks to all your advice. Thank you so much, and keep making these videos. Congratulations. Super, super happy for you. That's fantastic to hear. I love hearing success stories. Like, it's one of my favorite things. I get literally sometimes like 5 or 10 a day on LinkedIn. Sometimes it's none, but on average, it's like at least 2 or 3 per day are like, hey, you know, I followed all your advice. I got a job as a data analyst. I was a teacher. I was a nurse. I was this. I'm like, it's just incredible. It's amazing. I love hearing that. Congratulations, Hamza. Super happy for you. How important is learning data warehousing and data modeling for a junior position? Not super important. That is kind of a more advanced concept. It's like probably something you need to know at like year 3 if you want to keep advancing in certain companies who use data warehousing and data modeling. Sometimes you don't even need that, but at certain companies you will. It's really good to know. Random stranger, listen to CJ. He's trying to answer your questions, and I agree with him. I've been talking a lot about CJ tonight. CJ's the man, all right? He's my moderator. All respect to him. Let's see. As an experienced so this is for me, I guess. Robert Sorg says, as an experienced analyst, what skills have you worked on and are still working on? That's a great question. I'm always trying to improve my Python skills. Love Python. But there are some more advanced, not super advanced, but like definitely the more advanced stuff for my skill level. And I think I'm pretty good with Python. So I'm always working on Python. I love Python. I think that the cloud platforms are something I'm still working on. I know Azure very well. I've used a lot of Azure Data Factory, Azure Data Warehouse, Azure Data Lake. Databricks I've been working on, but I need to learn AWS a little better. So just cloud platforms in general are things that I need to improve on. Kevin, so his background, he got a job, he knows R, but doesn't know Python. What's the fastest way to learn Python? If you want to learn the basics, you can check out my channel for free. But there also is a course by Jose Portilla on Udemy. It's like $15 and is a great course to learn the basics of Python. But yeah, that might be the fastest, just taking courses and practicing. Yeah, I mean, and then build projects. How do you explain the projects as, this is a good question. Shobham says, how do you explain the projects as experience in terms of time duration? I wouldn't really phrase it that way. I wouldn't say, hey, I spent 2 days, 2 weeks working on this project. That doesn't really show experience. It can even show lack of experience. Hey, this simple project took me 6 weeks. How I tell people to phrase it and how I think you need to use that experience to help you get a job. You get into an interview and what they're gonna ask you is, tell me about your experience using SQL. And what you're gonna say, or what you should say from my experience, is you say, well, I worked on this project, and then you explain what you did. You don't say, well, I worked on this personal project, I downloaded this data set. You just say, I worked on this project, and had this data. And I was using mostly groupings and aggregations for most of the data analysis, which is what I find I'm using most in SQL. But I did use some Windows functions as well to do some roll-up functions or some, and you can kind of walk through what you do with the project. You do not need to specify that it's a personal project. You don't need to specify that you downloaded a data set on Kaggle. These are all erroneous, or not erroneous, that's the wrong word, irrelevant facts. But it can be experience if you use it as experience. It's all how you phrase things. Sometimes you need to leave things out to make it better. This isn't starting to annoy me. Okay, I'll push through for you guys. I'm reading, I apologize. Give me a second. You're welcome for answering your question. Nabil says, I have 8 years of previous experience. Should I focus more on them on my resume or focus on skills that I've acquired that would help me as a data analyst? That's another good question. Really good question. That's very relevant to a lot of people because they're coming from backgrounds like a teacher. Should I keep my 8 years of teaching experience on my resume as a data analyst? Here's what I usually recommend people do, is I usually keep the last maybe 1 job of non-data analytics experience. If it is relevant, if it's like a nurse and you're trying to become a healthcare analyst, you keep all that experience on, so it does matter. But if it's something completely random, like for me, a recreational therapist, I would not have put that on there. I may have actually, I don't know if I put it on there at all. I think I may have taken it off completely. But think about it from the interviewer's perspective. If you're like a construction worker and you're applying for a financial, like a data analyst at like a tech company, they're gonna be like, dude, your experience as construction worker and all you have is some skills, like that's not gonna be good enough. So I think there is a tactful way to either keep on the last job or remove it altogether, but I would not keep, if it's irrelevant, if it has nothing to do with what you're applying for, then you may need to keep it off. But there are certain cases. Oof, where am I? I skipped ahead. I did that thing. So annoying. What's your favorite IDE/editor for SQL? I prefer Microsoft SQL Server. I like MySQL. So Microsoft SQL Server is my go-to. I've used it the most. I just prefer it. It has other functionalities that other things don't. It's just my go-to usually. Joseph said, you're so sweet to your wife. You're a great man, Alex. Well, I try to be. I'm not always. I do make mistakes. I'm not the perfect husband, I guarantee you. But I try to be. I love my wife very much. And I hope she loves me as well. It's interesting. The Kick32 said, I just started a new job at Target as a data analyst in supply chain. I know nothing about supply chain because I came from healthcare. Do you have any advice? Yeah, ask a lot of questions. Just soak it all in, ask all the questions, find somebody in the company who you're working with who can help guide you through some of the terminology, some of these different things, and just dig into the data. Like look through the databases, look through the tables, look at people's code if they can show you some of their code. JOS said, show us your setup. I mean, I do on my Instagram. If you go on my Instagram, you can usually see my setup and stuff and things, but whew, okay, I'm starting to get hot. Let's take a shower after this. Good night. Rohail said, "Hey Alex, would you be able to make an updated a day in the life video? LOL." My life is changing. I may not be able to do that anymore, but I may do it for my new career, which you'll find out about on Tuesday, like what I'm doing. I may do something like that. Aziz Ayorindi said, "Compliments Alex as a master's degree holder in chemistry. Can my degree be considered to be paid more in my data analytics job? Potentially. I don't know much about chemistry degrees and how those apply to. I've never hired anyone with a chemistry degree, so I don't know. I don't know how what your experience or background is, but potentially, master's degree sometimes you can ask for more." Noe Barrientos says, "What do you think the future outlook for jobs in data analytics looks like?" Now, take this with a grain of salt because I am biased. But from everything I've seen, heard, read, everything, data analyst is a very stable career. I mean, genuinely. I don't see them going anywhere or even changing that much, especially in the next 10 years. Like I don't see it changing that much in the next 10 years, unless there's some big new invention. But you have to think about it like this. Most companies, data-wise, and that's what a lot of like freshers or people who are new to this industry don't understand. Most companies are very far behind technologically and data architecture-wise. Like they have no idea what they're doing, and it's bad. And that's why they need data engineers, database developers, and data analysts. That's why those jobs specifically, and sometimes data architects, those jobs do really well in this economy, or do really well in this where we are now, and especially for the next 10, 20 years, because companies are not good with working with their own data. They're just not. They don't make the investment. They don't do certain things. And so that kind of pays off for a lot of these jobs like data engineers, database developers, data analysts, these types of jobs. So, I just really don't see them being automated that much. And even in the next probably 15 years. That's my take. Now, if there are any very large advancements in things like, let's say ChatGPT, they create a SQL editor where you can ask it anything, which I've already seen stuff like that, but they're not very good. But let's say they get crazy better and whatever, they're still gonna need data analysts. Do you wanna know why? Because managers don't wanna do that. They don't wanna go in and query the data. They want to pay someone to do it, to find these insights. There's always going to be a need for somebody to go in and do that work. I promise you. I don't see in the next 20 years that going away at all. I see it becoming more needed. I really do. Again, take that with a grain of salt. I'm a little biased, but from everything I've seen, genuinely, that is my real take. Career path for a data analyst. Karam, that's a great question, although I do have a full video on that, data analyst career path. Go check out that video, because it's a lot of talking. I have more questions ahead of you. Balu Sai Ram. "Hey Alex, today I have an interview as a fresher for data management analyst. What questions or type of questions can I face?" You'll do, the typical, tell us about yourself, greatest strength, greatest weakness, those generic questions. Then you probably get some technical questions like, tell us about how you've used databases. What's your experience with databases? What systems have you used? And then maybe even a technical assessment. Just depends. I don't know. Keep it techie. "Do you think I can interview you on my YouTube channel in the future?" It's possible. It's possible. I usually book out like several months. So like right now I'm booked up until like end of February. So like I'm like March is like my next available time. But shoot me an email, and I try to like be accommodating to those things, but I usually, just warning you, I do book out late, because I especially January is like a crazy busy time for me. So I book out late. Just shoot me an email. alextheanalyst@gmail.com. Matthew, what are you doing? Matthew, okay, so Matthew Alderman is one of my other moderators, and he just gave me $2. Matthew, what are you doing? I appreciate it, but what are you doing? You're supposed to be moderating. Where you been? But thank you, man. I appreciate it. That means a lot, Matthew. Let's see. Let's see. Bum bum bum. Takinado? I don't know how you got that check mark next to your name, but that looks cool. Is that like does that mean something? I'm gonna hover over that real quick. I don't know if that means anything, but it said, he says, or he or she, thank you so much for your content. I'm doing the Google certificate and it's pretty good in the position of a recruiter. Would you hire someone that only has certificate and projects in GitHub? Probably not really. It just you need more. You need the right skills. You need the right skill level. So just the certificate and projects, I'm on the fence. Probably not. You need projects in GitHub, but you also need a good resume. That's really important. And you need to be able to talk to those projects well. So it's, I mean, like that's a really great start. It's a really great start. I'm not trying to be like a Debbie Downer. It's a great start to where you are. Just take the next steps. Create those projects, create the portfolio website. I have a whole video on how to do that. So create that website. Then what you want to do is you want to work with a recruiter, get a great resume. That's kind of where, you know, the certificate isn't going to sell you, but the resume will. Do I ever use SQL Magic in Python? Yes. Some of these questions I've already answered, so I'm skipping them. Which Excel tools are used most for a data analytics job? John, Fiji. What tools? I mean, Excel is a tool. That's why I'm confused. But I use like a lot of pivot tables, a lot of filtering on the data. Sometimes I use Excel to clean data. Let's see. Matthew's here. Matthew's in the house. So you guys, CJ's been king ruler over here, banning people at his will. But now Matthew's here to keep CJ in check because CJ's been a madman. He's just been going off. CJ said, I am the future. All right, let me see. Let me get back to the questions. I'm getting distracted by my moderators, whom I appreciate and I love. Thank you for being here. What companies are hiring for real? Tons of companies. I just wouldn't go look at tech companies right now because they're having lots of hiring freezes and cutbacks because they hired way too many people during the pandemic. Hired way too many people. So just normal companies. That's where I'd look. Look at like healthcare companies, look up the top 10 healthcare companies in the country. Look at the top 10 banks in the country. Look at the top 10 and go to those. Yeah, I don't, let me keep going. Any upcoming content on Mongo? I'm guessing you're saying MongoDB. I'm needing to go deeper in pipelines and aggregations. No. Evan, I think, is this Evan Simmons? Is this the real Evan Simmons? Is this my friend Evan Simmons? Or is this the Evan Simmons that's the fake Evan Simmons? Because every live stream I do, Evan Simmons comes on. It's either one or the other. It's the real Evan Simmons who I know from like high school, or it's the fake Evan Simmons who I always think was my friend from high school. If you're the real Evan Simmons, please stand up. Just put in the chat. I'll know, and then I'll answer your question. Actually, I'll answer your question anyways. No, MongoDB. Now, I've used MongoDB in my job. I feel like I know it well enough, but I need to kind of like go more in depth in order to feel comfortable making videos, if I'm being fully honest. Let's see. Thoughts on Palantir? Search for Palantir. I don't know much about Palantir. It says we build software. Yeah, I don't know much about Palantir. I'm being completely honest. I have to look it up. How do I find a mentor? Matthew Fletcher. Mentors can be hard to find. You can either reach out to people like me, but I'm always booked. It's really, I mean, I just hate to say it, but I'm always booked. So like reaching out to people that you may know who are in analytics or people on like LinkedIn, maybe even like a friend or someone if you have something like that. But yeah, I didn't know anybody. So if you don't know anybody, I recommend trying to reach out to somebody on like LinkedIn. Just say, hey, I'm interested in getting into analytics. Can I ask you some questions? That's how you start a relationship. And then you just appreciate them and you know, build that relationship from there. Evan Simmons says it's the real Evan Simmons. Can I trust him though? Wait a second. Because the fake Evan Simmons could easily have said he's the real Evan Simmons. But if this is the Evan Simmons that I know, then check out his YouTube channel. He's got a YouTube channel. I believe it's on, is it data engineering? Let me look. How do I even click on this? I don't think I can click on this. Yeah, I'm gonna YouTube right now because now that you said it, I'm gonna verify. I'll be able to verify. Evan Simmons data. Yep, there he is. It is you. I knew it was you. I knew that. Maybe it's software. Yeah, developer. So he makes content on developer. How many subscribers do you have? 216. That's what's up. That's what's up. Keep going. A year ago, my friend. I remember talking to you a year ago. You said you're going to be making more content, but still, there's still some good stuff. 5 tips, software engineering with no degree. Anyways, just a quick plug. Why not? Let me go back up. Let me go back up. Where am I? Okay. Do you think companies will still reach out to interview me, and how should I go moving forward? I don't know how to answer that. I don't know if they'll reach out to you. Have you been applying? I need more information. Hale, I need more information. What's your take on who will win today's match by analysis of data took from those two teams, Argentina or France? I have no data on it, haven't done any analysis on it whatsoever. I would be looking at time possession and how many goals they score relative to their time possession. I think that's a big factor. That's a big factor in soccer. I played soccer for like 8 years. And the more you can control the ball, the higher percentage you have of winning. So I would be looking at their previous games, how many goals they scored versus their time possession. And that's something that I'd be looking at. That's actually might be an interesting project. But I don't know. I hope, I don't really have a dog in the fight, but I like Argentina. I do. I kind of hope they win. I see a ton of jobs for United Healthcare data analytics roles. That's from Matthew. Could be true, could be not. I don't know if we can trust Matthew. He came late. But United Healthcare. Yeah, United Healthcare, I don't know. I have seen jobs for those as well in my area, but I'm in like the southeast United States. So I'm not sure if that's like a regional thing. Let's see. Let's see. Evan Simmons, software engineering, been a while. Well, that makes me sad too. That makes me sad. Don't make me sad on my stream, Evan. But no, you had good content. Let me see. How to get an entry-level data analyst job in 2023. I'm gonna be releasing a video on that literally in January. That'll be like one of my first videos in January, so like probably 2 or 3 weeks. But go check out my video on how to become a data analyst in 2022. It's a lot of overlap, but there are new things that I've added to the 2023 updated version. The 2022 has like 90% of it. So just check out that video. How to approach a data analyst job posting. So this is Ted F. That has too many skills requirements, feasible and realistic for the position. Still apply and see what they really use or just avoid. I'd still apply. Now, when they do that, it's usually somebody like in HR or some hiring person who doesn't really know, and they just put every technical skill they can think of and see what they can get. I would still apply. Michaela? What is the question you get asked the most? That's a good question. It's usually based around like getting interviews and getting jobs. I would say it's the question I get the most. All right, let me see. I'm trying to catch up to these. Have you personally hired entry-level data analysts without a degree or relevant degree? And how many, but have technical skills or potential to learn? Yes, I have multiple. Who don't have any experience in data analytics, but they were working on it, and I needed someone who I could train. So yes, I have. Everyone loves Argentina. Yes, that is a fact. Sandra, okay, we got about 5-10 minutes, and then we'll have to wrap things up. So I'm gonna try to power through these last couple of questions to make sure I got everybody, or got all the questions, or the majority of the questions. Do we need Sandro Leles? I don't know, Leles? I don't know, I'm sorry. It says, hi, do you need to know much about database design and database management for analytics? No, you really don't. Now, you can, and it's really helpful, but no, you don't need to. These are remote positions. You can trust me. I'm an engineer. Don't trust Matthew. I don't know if I can trust that man. Let's see. Oh, interesting. Malco Rubb said, I work for United Health Group, which encompasses United Healthcare and Optum, which is virtually every US city. Lots of data analyst roles in my company. There you go. Do you have any experience working with Linux? My channel is all about Linux. Yes, I've used Linux, but it's not my go-to. I usually use mostly Microsoft. I'm a Microsoft shop guy, but I have used Linux in the past, and I like it. It's just not my cup of tea for most of the work I do. Found difficult to learn VBA. What will you advise not learning VBA? I'm just kidding. You can learn VBA. It wasn't my thing. It wasn't my thing. I've never really used it. Matthew, straight up, stop giving me money. $4 is too much. All right, I could go get a 4 for $4 at Wendy's right now, and I may do that in your honor. But 4 for $4 right now at Wendy's and get a double cheeseburger, 4 chicken nuggets, small fries, and a drink for what you've done, and I don't like it because that is gonna make me fat. Don't be doing that anymore. I'm not even joking. I am not even joking. Okay. Joseph Cruz says, hello, Alex. Some of my friends are switching from data analytics to front-end developer. Is data analytics that hard? It can be. It's competitive, but it can be hard for some people. Some people have a design mind for front-end design. I could not switch to front-end. Oh, I could not switch to front-end. That'd be so tough for me. But I could switch to a back-end engineer, I bet. I bet I could pick that up pretty quickly. In fact, I've built many websites myself doing that, but not to the level of like a professional. But I could get there. So yeah, there's overlap in some skills, and people just have better. Not everyone's cut out. Not everyone has the skills or the passion for data analytics. I mean, believe it or not, some people try out data analytics and they don't like it. I know it's hard to conceptualize, but some people don't like data analytics and they like other things like front-end or database developers or data engineers. It's true. It's true. Oh, interesting. Evan Simmons, he wrote, prepping for my lead software engineer interview. Dude, good luck. Huge step for me, mainly brushing up on live coding skills for the hands-on interview round. Any suggestions? Well, the only thing that I know that really is like for software engineers is like leak code. And then there's also Algo Expert, which I believe has software engineer like course as well as questions on their platform. So they have good stuff. They have good stuff. No Barrientos. You gotta tell. Can you show me like the how to spell that using like phonetics? Because I keep saying Noe Barrientos. Thank you for the $2. She said, thank you for all your help. Thank you. You didn't have to do that. You're already supporting the channel as a member of the channel, which means a lot to me. It really does. And if you don't know what that means, you guys can join the channel and support the channel just by being a member of the channel. Which allows me to do stuff like this. So I have a lot of people who are members of the channel, and that's why I haven't mentioned it at all yet, but that's why I do these monthly live streams, is for the people, for them, and everyone else gets to, gets it on their behalf. Because I don't want to gatekeep. I don't want to, put a wall barrier behind, asking questions and learning. I don't want to do that. So, let's see. But thank you. That was very, very kind. Do you still recommend Excel and SQL as your first two things to learn from ground zero? Most of the time, yes. If you're not super into Excel, you can learn like Tableau, because SQL Tableau is a great combination. Do you think now is a good time to get into data analytics? I'm asking because I'm a bit worried about AI replacing dataless jobs in the future. Well, you may not have heard me a little while ago. It's still a very secure job, and AI is not going to replace data analytics, at least within the next, I predict 15 years, we might be the earliest we start seeing jobs being replaced. Because even things like Chat GPT, which is taking the world by storm, everyone's trying it. Even that has a lot of limitations. I've tried it a lot, and I don't think I'm going to make a video on it, but I've tried it a lot, and there's actually quite a few limitations on it. It could aid, and if somebody made an integrated system into like SQL or something, it could aid a lot, but managers aren't going to want to run that. Customers aren't going to want to run that. They're going to hire data analysts to run those queries and develop those queries and make sure they're right and optimize them and make sure we have the correct data. Yes, they're needed. They're needed. AI is not going to take over data analysis anytime soon. Legitimately, I don't see it happening unless there's some crazy new tech that comes out like in the next 5 years, which still, even if today, I'm telling you, even if today, a groundbreaking breakthrough in artificial intelligence that could completely replace data analytics comes out today, it would still take 10 years or 15 years for data analytics to actually be automated. Because so many companies are so far behind in technology, you would not believe. That was kind of my point earlier, which is technologies does not get adopted by most companies till about 5 to 10 years after it comes out, sometimes more. Like healthcare, we're behind the times in some areas. So don't expect things to like all of a sudden be gone. Matthew Alderman, can I buy you coffee if I ever come to Charleston? Yes. Shoot me a message on LinkedIn if you ever do that. I'd be happy to go out with coffee. Go out for some coffee. But I don't know many good coffee shops around here. But yeah, absolutely. Just hit me up. CJ said Charleston doesn't have coffee, only sweet tea, and that is not even that big of a joke, because sweet tea is like the national, or like the state drink. It's like poison. It's like pure sugar. It's like worse than, it's like lemonade on crack. Sad Tiger, you are amazing. Thank you. That's super kind of you. We bots never lie. What's on Alex's Spotify playlist this week? I don't listen to music. I just work. I just code and work and make content. I hate to say it. I haven't listened to music in a long time. I listen to it every so often on the radio when I'm driving. And I usually listen to like country or pop because I'm lame. Let's see, I'm at the bottom. How can I showcase or upload a Power BI dashboard to my portfolio? That's hard because usually you have to have an account in order to see it. But what people have done is take screenshots and then, make a narrative of it, explain it. But yeah, I haven't found my way around that yet, but I might. Data Man said no music, really? Yeah, so here's how my life usually goes. And I just quit my full-time job. If you didn't know, I just quit my full-time job. So, okay. And this goes into what Michael Burton is asking. What's the announcement about the Alex Analytics LLC? And then Matthew also said favorite guilty pleasure band, which I'm going to answer that really quickly, which is Dave Matthews or John Mayer. All that being said, this all ties together because my usual day was work my full-time job, spend time with the kids, do YouTube stuff at night. And when I would do YouTube stuff at night or work or play with my kids, I don't have time to listen to music or watch Netflix or do any of these things. I had to focus because I have very limited time. Now that I quit my job, I started Alex Analytics LLC, which has kind of been like an umbrella company that I created 2 years ago for a lot of other things. I've been doing stuff, and so I now have all my time. So maybe I will start listening to music. I don't know. Okay, Matthew. All right. Thank you for all your content, Rohail. Much love from Virginia, aka your East Coast neighbor. Much love. I was just up in Virginia, near where were we? We were near the Six Flags that we went to, or Busch Gardens? It was near the coast. It was like a historic town. Matthew, you're not my moderator anymore. Let's see. All right, guys, that's actually time. I finally caught up on videos, and now it's time. Let me put on my glove real quick. My gloves. I greatly appreciate you guys coming. I greatly appreciate you guys being here. If you missed at the beginning, Santa did not actually come. He said he was going to come. He didn't. You got me instead. But my gift to you was the gift of knowledge, and I hope that's okay. But with all that being said, this is our December live stream. The next time we have another live stream, it's going to be in 2023, which seems pretty wild. And no E in your mail. See, I don't know, I've always seen Noah or Noe. I've always thought that was N-O-E. I've seen that as only female before. So Noe is a male name. What's going on, man? Noe Barrientos. Got it. It's up here now. All that being said, I see everyone writing, and I can't do both at the same time. So I'm going to focus here real quick. Thank you guys. 2022 was a wild year, not just for the channel, but just in terms of like how many people have gotten data analyst jobs. I legitimately have had like over 1,000 people this year, way over 1,000 people this year, say that they have gotten data analyst jobs through following my content. So it is proven, it is happening. So all that being said, 2023 is going to be a wild year for the channel, for a lot of other things that I'm coming out with. Hint, hint to Tuesday's video. It's going to be crazy. 2023 is hopefully going to be the best year yet. And hopefully the best year for you guys as well. Because I want to see a lot of you guys in the chat messaging me on LinkedIn or email saying you got a job. That's what 2023 is supposed to have in store. So with all that being said, I see a bunch of people saying Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. That's about it. Good night. So all of that back to you. Merry Christmas. Happy Holidays. Thank you guys so much for joining me. This is our last live stream of 2022. I will see you guys in 2023. I have to go over to this thing really quick to actually stop the live stream. But thank you guys. You guys are fantastic. You guys are wonderful. You guys are amazing. I will see you next Tuesday. Be sure to look out for that video. It's going to explain a lot about me quitting my job. And I want people to cry because I cry in the video, and I want other people to cry with me. All right. Take it easy, guys. I'm going to click the stop button now.